Mushahed Hussain is former chairman of the Pakistani Senate's Defense Committee, chairman of the Pakistan-China Institute and head of Pakistan's Friends of Silk Road Club. He has met with Chinese President Xi Jinping many times during the last 13 years, and he is happy to share the pleasant memories with us.
My first meeting with President Xi Jinping was in 2011, I think. I had a 1 hour long conversation with him, and he was then the Vice President. His Excellency Xi Jinping is a leader to me. He has confidence, he is competent, and he has clarity. When I talked to him, he responded to my questions, which were not given in advance, without notes. So, any question I asked, he would respond. Nobody gave him anything in writing or notes. He did on it. So that showed his competence, that he could grasp issues like the palm of his hand, the facts on his fingertips. I asked him about the vision of China, and he said to me in 2011 that by 2021, 100 years of the foundation of the Communist Party of China, we will eliminate extreme poverty from China, which turned out to be true. And then the next thing he talked about was China in mid-2030s and 2049. So he gave the course of China for the next 40 years, how China would develop.
In April 2015, President Xi Jinping paid a state visit to Pakistan, during which he met with representatives who have contributed to China-Pakistan friendship and conferred 5 principles of peaceful coexistence friendship award to them. Mushahed Hussain was one of the awardees.
When he came to Pakistan, I met him at the award ceremony. I think it was the 20th of April 2015 in Islamabad. When he gave the award, the 5 principles of peaceful, he said that the Chinese people highly value your contribution to promoting China-Pakistan relations at the people-to-people level, since you are an old friend of China who has visited China so many times and who has performed services for China-Pakistan friendship. I felt very honored that he recognized that contribution. He recognized my role, and he knew about my different history of my visits. I talked about my visit, and he was very relaxed, very warm, and very friendly and informal. I remember his speech, which he made to the Pakistan Parliament. It was a very well thought out speech. It was a very substantive speech, and he got applause about 20-30 many times. It was amazing. He talked of the Silk Road, the old connection between China and Pakistan. He talked about Iqbal, the great poet who had mentioned about the rise of China 90 years ago, who had predicted that the great Chinese nation is rising from slumber and the springs of hope are emerging in the Himalayas. It was a very important speech, and he talked of Pakistan as a good friend, as a good neighbor and a good partner. So very warm words. So that was a very unique speech. I've been in Parliament for a long time, and I've listened to speeches of leaders who come there. This was a very substantive, very informative, and a speech which was full of history and full of linkages of the relationship between Pakistan and China in historical terms, in civilizational terms, at the people-to-people level. His speech shows that it's a very inclusive approach, that China's progress is linked with China's relationship with the neighborhood and the outside world. And China wants to share. So when you're growing and moving forward and progressing, China wants a partnership in growth, shared prosperity, shared destiny, a common vision for a better tomorrow. And here China would then help countries like Pakistan. I think that was a very important vision, and that vision is now being demonstrated and practiced concretely in terms of policy also. The Belt and Road Initiative, the BRI, which is the most important diplomatic and developmental initiative of the 21st century. And then this is followed on and reinforced by the GDI, the Global Development Initiative, by the GSI, the Global Security Initiative, and the Global Civilization Initiative.
And we in Pakistan, who are neighbors of China, are very fortunate because one of the pillars, one of the pivots, one of the flagships of the BRI is the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. China has invested $26 billion on CPEC projects in Pakistan in the last 10 years. 250,000 Pakistanis have gotten jobs. 8,000 megawatts of electricity generated. 600 kilometers of roads and highways have been built. 28,000 Pakistani students have been studying in China. There's a part of Pakistan called Thar, where women never left their homes except to be with their children or just to maybe fetch water. Today, women are driving dumper trucks when they mine the coal in Thar, which is generating electricity, which in turn is feeding the national grid. And I was in Beijing October 18th for the third Belt and Road Forum, where President Xi Jinping focused on one of the core elements of the Belt and Road Initiative, which is people-to-people connectivity. And he used a very nice term. He said this people-to-people connectivity leads to a symphony of friendship in the present era.
More than 50 years ago, when Mujahid Hussain Said was still a student, he came to China for the first time with a friendly organization of Pakistan. In his view, it was a voyage of discovery, of learning, and of trying to understand what China is all about.
And since that period, I went to America for my higher education, and then I came back, became an academic, then a journalist, and now in politics. I continued my learning of China through my 100 plus visits to China in the last 50 years. And then I established a platform for people-to-people connectivity in the Pakistan-China Institute.
In October 2023, the awarding ceremony for the first Silk Road Global News Awards was held. Mujahid Hussain Said was awarded with the Special Contribution Award. The Special Contribution Award is granted to those who are committed to promoting high-quality Belt and Road cooperation. Mujahid Hussain Said felt much honored.
I was very honored that I got this first Silk Road Global News Awards, by the People's Daily. I was very humbled also in that regard. I think the main role of media is to serve as a bridge of understanding between peoples, between cultures, between countries, between civilizations, and also provide information and facts to the viewers or the readers or the listeners that how China is developing forward and how China's relationship in the world is developing forward.